Oh my gosh! Thank you, Azure! Thank you so much for the tier 1 sub for 36 months! Insanity! How's it going, Azure? I love you so much. You're the bestest bean in the whole wide world. How's the Far Cries? Big hearts. Big hearts. I am still waking up. My brain is still slowly coming back to life. Though better than last night. I don't know what was going on with my brain last night. It was so weird. I can't believe it took me like a whole couple minutes for me to understand that that one quiz was about knowing how you feel about like a certain individual. I was like sitting there for ages and I was like, what? And then it finally like clicked in my brain and I was like, aw, snap. Aw, snap. Oh, thank you. Actually, this time it's like a little ponytail with a little bow on it. Hey. Also, my connection. Yeah, it's a ponytail. Thank you anyway. Yeah. I just have so much hair now. Just an unbelievable amount of hair that I kind of need to do my, like, it used to be that I could just, like, wake up and just have my hair whatever because it was super short, but now that it's super long, I kind of need, that, how should I put it? Like, I need to do it in, like, different ways, either with braids or ponytails or pigtails or whatnot. Aw, thank you, Azure. You're the best. You're the bestest bean. But yeah, Rolf and I are gonna be playing Ebon Light. And we played a little bit last time. Yeah. When, yeah, my hair is just like, whew, now. Just absolute insanity if I don't have it done. But yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so, last Monday stream, Azure, Rolf and I, we played, what is it called? Aeronautosis, I think it's called. It's like this, and I kind of want to play it with you at some point too, Azure. It was really fun. Oh, hi, Rolf. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? I love you so much. Hello. I hope you're doing well. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. How's it going, Rolf? I hope you're doing well. I was just telling Azure about what we did last week. Because he was asking earlier about what we're playing this time around, and I was saying we're playing Ebon Light, Elvish Twilight. But before that, we played, the Aeronautosis, that 2-player game. I can't believe you're cheating on me with Azure. Amazing. Yeah, I'm sorry, Rolf. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. Azure's my one and only hoe. Oh boy. But yeah, I'm excited. I played some of it on my own, so there's gonna be like some saves at the bottom of like my own playthrough, because I was like, you know, it's been years since I played this game. I kind of feel like playing it again, so I played some of it, but I think I might restart the playthrough. Because there's some things I kind of want to do differently. Heck yeah. Yeah. But yeah, we honestly, Azure, I should show you the Aeronoctosis game because I think you would enjoy it too. Like, I think you would have a lot of fun with it as well, just like I did with it. And I would probably, like, get the entire game and we could play through all the levels. It would be a good time. It's basically like this, it's a two-player game that's kind of like Fatal Frame-y, if that makes sense, but different. Heck yeah. Heck yeah, that should be a command on this channel. Heck yeah. Exactly. But basically the game is you each play, like, it's kind of like this weird sort of like pixel arty style to it, but basically you each play like this person. One person holds the camera while the other person holds a flashlight. And the idea is that in order to hurt monsters that try and like get you, one player has to shine the flashlight on it while the other player has to take a photo of it. And the only way the camera will work on a monster is if a flashlight is shining on it, and if the camera is on it for long enough, just like in Fatal Frame. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. That's awesome. Azure, you're the best. And the idea is you're trying to like reassemble a person's body. So you have to like find these weird like buckets of goop to put near the body so that like it gains back its body parts. So you have to like go around this map trying to find the body parts while also like getting rid of the monsters in a Fatal Frame-y like style gameplay. And it was like really I hated how this is like the only thing that comes to mind about the gameplay style, but it really reminds me of like a Dark Souls in that the game, like, in order to get through the game, you kind of have to like keep playing it until you become like a master at how the level functions. Like, we were only able to beat the demo level that's free after like 2 hours of playing, because first we had to learn how the game works, but then after that we kind of had to slowly learn like what's the best way of traversing this map, where's like the hidden shortcuts, where's all the different things that we have to get, which one should we get first, like how does this monster work versus this monster, and etc, etc. So it was kind of like a big like trial and error fest until we figured it out. But we got there, we beat that demo level, and there's apparently like more levels, but you have to actually like pay for it to get the other subsequent levels. So it's only like $7, I think, for the other levels, so it's not too bad. So, you know, it's always a possibility. And only one person needs to own it, too. Like, if I were to buy the extra levels, like, whoever I play with doesn't have to buy them. Only I do. Because as long as one person has it, everybody has it. Well, everybody that you play with has it. Which, of course, would be y'all. Because y'all are the Tomodachis. Yeah, anyways, so we're done with that. We could do it tonight then? Heck yeah. I mean, we could try out the demo level and see how you like it, Azure. And if you like it enough, I'll buy the rest of it. Absolutely. Because the demo level, as I said, it took us like 2 hours, I think, to beat the demo level. So it was a good, like, first taste. It's not like it takes 2 seconds to get through and then you're not sure. Imagine a game that costs like $10,000, but if anyone buys it, it becomes free to play. You know, that would be a really interesting way of doing it. It's like you basically pay for everybody who would have ever played it. That would be so interesting. Or like, what if there was a system where if you were rich enough, you could just like pay, like in the sense of like, instead of buying extra games for like people, you would just like pay extra and then whoever wants the game next can get it for free because you paid for their game. That might be interesting. I doubt anyone would ever like actually do it, but it's an interesting concept. Yeah, pay it for coffee but with games instead. Exactly. That would be so interesting. But yeah, I don't know if anyone would actually do it, but it's an interesting concept. But, because in the end, you're still getting the same amount of money. The developer is still getting the same amount of money. It's just a person who possibly can't pay for it doesn't have to pay for it now. But yeah, I don't know how it would be implemented. I feel like it would be really hard to implement it. I mean, I guess it depends on the game. Like, if it's a lower indie game, then it probably won't be too bad. But if it's one of those, like, if it's like Elden Ring or something where a bajillion people are buying it all at the same time, I would imagine that trying to do something like that would be absolutely insanely hectic. I would definitely not. Like, if I was in charge of something like that, I would lose my mind. Be like, who should get this free game? I don't know. There's like a billion people all at the same time trying to buy it. Crazy. But yeah, indie games, though, I could see it working for that, since a lot of times indie games don't have as big of a following for it. Yeah, maybe not AAA games, unless no one really cares about the AAA game that is coming out. Yeah. Oh, Azure, if you're still here, were you able to play more Soul Hackers 2? How's it going with that? Maybe just like every time somebody buys a game, then a free copy becomes available. And when you go to buy the game, you can choose to either pay for it or take one from the free pot. Oh, that's such a good idea. But at the same time, I feel like in order for that to really work, you need to have it like IP protected or something. Or not IP protect. What's it called? What's the, like, to make sure that you only get one? Like, you have only just the one connection that you have. Yep, that was a good time. Because I would imagine that, like, some trolls would probably try and, like, take all the free ones or, like, mess with that system. Yeah, like, it makes sure that it's your IP address. That's what I was thinking of. So, one per IP address. So, like, you can't just, like, buy a bunch, like, just claim a bunch of free ones. Like, everyone only gets one. If your computer has already taken one, that's like it, you know? we could start like a whole thing with this. We're really, you know, figuring it out as we go along. They should hire us. As if this whole system would implode the first time it's ever used, no matter how much we try and think about it. Yeah! Yeah. Yeah, I think that has been done before, now that I'm thinking about it. Like a game that is free after being used. I mean, after being released for like a month or so. I feel like that's been done before. But now I can't remember what game has done it. I think it's been done before. But, yeah. Yeah, it's like if you really, really want this game, you can pay for it. To get it early. I mean, I guess, you know, in some ways, I guess it's like some Patreon, like some indie developers do it with Patreon games, you know? Where it's like, if you're a patron on Patreon, you get to access games early. And then at some point, like, those games will be released, and a lot of times, sometimes even for free. But if you're a patron, you get to access that game way ahead of time. Like, I know one of my favorite horror developers, Kitty Horror Show, does that with her games. Because what she does is, like, she'll release it on Patreon, and so people will only have access to it as a patron. And then sometime later, she'll, like, include it in, like, one of her Haunted Cities compilations for free. Most EA games, danksy. I've also seen games that are more expensive during early access, yeah. Makes sense. It's like, if you really, really want to see this game become reality, you can pay like a little more to replay it and get it out there and get it done. Get her done. But yeah, you're so right, Azure. I love that EA is kind of like the ultimate villain in video games. Like, Activision is pretty close, but I think EA itself is kind of like the ultimate villain. Pretty funny. Oh, I didn't finish this thought earlier, but I did play Ebon Light on my own for a little bit. And so some of the saves are gonna be in there at like the bottom. I put all the saves at the bottom from that playthrough. But I think I might delete them and start over, because there's some things that I like re-remembered and was like, I kind of want to respec my character, because the first time I played through, I went all the way through without worrying too much about it, but now I'm kind of like, I want to see specific things, though I bet in the end I'm still gonna make the same choices just because just because I'm always like, yeah, this time I'm gonna be like this or that, and then in the end I'm like, nah, I can't I'm me and nobody else. But yeah. Also, I wonder, Rolf, if you'll be able to guess who my favorites are in this game. Will be interesting. Also, Azure, I don't think you've seen a lot of this particular game, because I know I showed some of this game on stream, but only like up to a certain point. Whereas I think most of it I just played on my own until the end. Well, the main elf guy has been pretty mean to us, so he's got me up there. Nah, actually. Though I do like Lacey in some ways. You know, actually, I considered this time around, playing his route, maybe, during a second playthrough. But I haven't, as I said, like, I haven't fully decided what I'll play during my own playthrough, like, who I'll go for. But yeah, Lacey is pretty great. But we still have multiple people to meet, so... And then once we meet all of them, I'll be like, okay, here's the gang. Now you get to decide. But yeah, we have a lot of peeps to meet still, because we've only met one, Lacey. But Lacey is pretty great, especially since he is basically... Yeah, I suppose he's basically the Hijikata of this game. We need to find the Soji. Exactly. 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 And I mean, like, I love Hijikata. Like, Hijikata is great. Just the same as I think Lacey is great. But I wouldn't say they're, like, my number one. But they're both great. I love both of them a lot. They're both top tier characters. Honestly, all the love interests in this game are great. And... I feel like this is one of those games where I feel like it's the best as a whole team. Like, there's so many dating sims where I'm almost kind of sad to pick a route, if that makes sense. Because I'm like, I love the sort of like weird found family dynamics that come from having a harem in dating sims. Like, there's a sort of like, I don't even know how to put it, like, dynamic there that I absolutely love to see in dating sims. And there are like a couple where like the dynamic stays even once you pick a route. But there's a lot of them where once you pick somebody, everybody else like is like peace and then disappears. It's like, oh, okay, goodbye. See y'all later, I guess. I'm sad. And the saddest part is usually that happens right after, like, the group has this big scene together, you know, where everybody's, like, helping each other and working together. Heck yeah, Azure, let's go. But, like... It's just, it's so sad to me, because it's like, you know, yes, I didn't go down your route, but can't we all still be a fun, happy, found family over here? That was fun. It was a good time. Yeah, and it's always something that kind of, like, worries me. Like, for example, in my second life as a villainess, one of my biggest fears about that story is that if she ever does pick somebody, would the rest of the harem still be a team with her? Like, I would imagine yes, but there's always like this fear in me that has been caused by these dating sims. Where it's like, oh, you pick one person, the rest of the gang pieces off, and I'm like, no! No friendship, only romance. No! No! But yeah. There are a lot of ones, though, as well. It's just like real life, really. Only two people in the friend group get together. Once two people in the friend group get together, they disappear. Yeah. Dang, see. I was telling Azure the other day, I would never do that. Like, I hate it when people do that. And so I'm just like, that's like a big pet peeve of mine. Is when like friends are like, now that we're dating, we're gonna ghost the rest of you. And it's like, hello? What the heck? Yeah. Yeah. They always say that beforehand. Nah, I legit, because to me, the way I see it is that friends and soulmates are like two different but equally significant roles in a person's life, you know? basically the idea is if your romantic interest, if your partner is your best friend, you're doing it right. If your partner is your only friend, you're doing it wrong. So you need to have those other types of relationships in your life to have like a full, like, nice support system, because those friendships will, like, though they still fulfill certain things that your partner will never be able to, and vice versa. So yeah, especially at the start when you're still developing it, you kind of need some time. That makes sense. That does make sense. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Rolf. Exactly. But yeah, that's why I'm always kind of like, I love the dating sims where it's like, yeah, you've ended up with this person, but we're all still a team, you know? We're all still in this together. Those are the ones that, like, make my heart soar. I'm like, aw, Tomodachis. I love it. I love it so much. Like, I've recently started playing this one that I shared some stats with Azure for, that it's like one of those ones where it's all text, but it's still like a choose your own adventure type thing. So kind of like a choose your own adventure novel, but in virtual form, and there's like stats and stuff as well. And when I played that game, there's like 4 possible love interests, and I got with one of them, but the other 3 are still there, and they're still, like, they still have stats with them, like, as friends and stuff, like how close of a friend you are to them, how good of a friend you are to them, and I loved that. I loved that, like, even though I ended up with one person, like, these 3 characters were still a big part of my life, you know? Yeah. That's completely understandable, Rolf, and I'm glad you got out of it. I'm very happy for ya. I'm glad you got out of the bad relationship. It's always difficult, especially when you're in the middle of it, to, like, know. But it's completely understandable. You're the bestest bean. But yeah, there's also Code Realize is one of my favorite, like, non-Western dating sims. One of my favorite Japanese dating sims, I should say. And in that game, you stay with the whole gang. Even once you pick, like, a route. Like, you, of course, have scenes with specific characters, but overall, you stay with the whole gang, and I like that. Like, yeah! Yeah! It makes me happy. Yeah, I really hate those games where it's just like, well, you pick this person, the rest of the characters, they pieced out. They're gone. And it's like, no, but I liked them too. No. Come back. Come back. But yeah, anyways, I should probably open up the game soon. Also, just to make sure that the saves are still there, because I didn't check beforehand. Because I'm a professional streamer, as y'all know. I'm the most professional of streamers. Let's see. So, yeah, I'm so glad, Rolf, that you managed to get out of that and everything. Because you're the best. Yeah, we def picked the ditch your friends route. Yeah, when Anya finds her catchy, I'll make sure she makes time with her friends. Heck yeah. I'll be on in a sec. Probably can't play along though. No, that's totally fine. That is no worries. No worries, Rolf. I can, like, do all the voice acting, or even just like we'll just read as we go along without even doing the voice acting. That'll also be a possibility. I forgot that there's like this bagpipes going on. Also, yeah, once I find my soulmate, Azure will make sure to cyberbully them every chance he gets. It'll be great. Good times. But yeah, Rolf, like, no worries. We can always also just, as I said, like, do it like how I do sometimes in my own stream. Like, if I stream on Discord visual novels, I'll just, like, have us read whatever's going on and react to it. Maybe like an hour or so. Okie doke. No worries. No worries, no worries, no worries. Heck yeah. The person that I date would absolutely need, like, to be taken down a peg every once in a while, so go absolutely go ahead, Azure. Yeah, no worries, Rolf. Absolutely no worries. I'm always fine with doing this for a short stream. Doesn't have to be long. Anyways, I haven't taken a sip of my coffee this whole time, so I'm gonna take a sip. This is true. Azure has already done it. And I am grateful for it. Azure, Lulu, and Angel are like my defense squad. They're like, oh, here comes another one. Pa-pow! Wha-bam!
Hello.
Hello, it's Rolf! Welcome, welcome. I love ya. How's it going?
I'm okay. Bit tired.
Yeah, understandable. I've been feeling that way too. Doing any D&D sessions lately?
Not too much, but I'm working on something to run soon.
Ooh, what you doing?
Just something with a lot of fighting.
Hey, I mean, that's fun too.
Yeah. No, I've just been feeling like I want to run a bit more games.
Yeah.
Just doing something quick.
Yeah, understandable. Very understandable. Also, Azure says, I've been getting rid of Anya Sims for 3 years now. It's true. It's very true. The #1 attack dog. Let's go. But, and yeah, no worries, Rolf. Just let me know when you're ready to tap out, and we can tap out whenever.
Will do.
Eee. So, just to give a little recap from last time, we yeah, Alenka, we ate some bone dust, as I like to call it, the Kuntatal or whatever it's called.
Oh, right.
And it, now we've been taken by an elf onto an elven ship, so we can go to their island that they all live on. And we've lived all our lives in this very secluded place, so this is our first time kind of going out into the world.
Yeah, we're pretty much literally dirt farmers.
Yeah, basically. So as you can see, I'm gonna scroll down real quick. Yeah, here. You can see I did all these saves here. But I might even just delete them all and just restart a second time. But it was nice kind of going through some of it again. Oh, you've been taken by an elf, huh? Kappa. No, Azure.
Yeah, we're on an elf boat at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, now we're on the boat. And we stopped here because I was like, this seems like a good place to stop. So far we've met one of the love interests. There is a total of 5 love interests, I think.
Alright.
Yeah, there's a total of 5 love interests, and there's also in every single one of like these Otome dating sims, there's always like that one woman in it that you're like, I wish there was a lesbian option. Because we're gonna meet her very soon as well, and tons of people, including myself, are like, why isn't she an option? Big sad. Anyways, let's go. Yeah, here's our man Lacey. I love the fact that everyone who ever plays this game states that they always pick the Lacey option. It's like a necessity.
Does the game only replace his name if you pick that option?
I don't know. I've legitimately never picked any of the other options, so I have no clue. Aboard the Galalian ship, I got a few odd looks from the elves. They were all as pale as Lacey, all wore dark armor, and they all seemed to have dark hair. Their looks never lingered. For whatever anomaly I was, I must not have been that remarkable. They moved with purpose, diligent, efficient, unwilling to be distracted. Lacey had followed me onto the deck, staying behind me at an increasing distance. I even lost sight of him in between the crowds on occasion, but I suppose he wasn't concerned. Where was I gonna go? Yeah, we are kind of in a boat. Yeah. Oh shit, it's Morbius. No.
I mean, that's how England got its navy so big during the Age of Sail, right? Just stuff people onto a boat and never let them off.
Yeah, yep. You're stuck here now. I tried to move out of the elf's way as best I could, but I still seemed to be making something of an obstruction. So I tried to stand still. The elves moved around me. There she is! The girl!
She looks cool.
Yeah, she's great. I love her so much. There you are, Lysega. I heard the name of my escort and looked to the woman who spoke it. She was marching toward me.
Commander.
I hadn't realized Lacey had caught up to me until I heard his voice over my shoulder. Your little side venture was successful, I take it. If not... He gave me a long, curious look. Then I'll demand a smuggling fee. There are proper channels if you really insist on taking your lovers home.
She is what Dulier wants.
Sega! You know what? I'm gonna do that every time now. I'll be... If it's not Lacey, I'm gonna be like, let's Sega! He's always been a bit of an odd one, hasn't he? Alright, why not? Welcome to the Bastion, human. It seemed I ought to get used to being called human.
I love this pose from her, the main character. She's kind of like, yeah. I don't know if I'm supposed to be here. I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, when she kind of has like just her hands like out in front of her, like a T-Rex.
Yeah.
We said it at the same time, same brain. I'm Commander Calipola Milaros. Commander? Does that mean you're in charge of all this? The gigantic ship, the masses of black-clad elves, the mysterious
See, she's
agenda.
already falling in love.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm so upset. Mysterious agenda somehow involving me. Oh no, ha! No, I am in charge of parts of this. I'm also in charge of him. She motions at Lacey, sounding ever so slightly smug. I felt a surge of optimism. So we can say, then fix this, then you can let me go, or you all like him, or he's a talented stalker.
Maybe the third one? We've played our curious so far. I think it makes sense.
So this one? Are the rest of you like him? Well, in some ways. He's not at all the exception, if that's what you mean. I suggest you learn to embrace pride, arrogance, hostility, and aggression. I promise that underneath all the war and bloodlust, we're all sorts of fun. Was she serious? Apparently she was serious. But a word of advice. If the Onyx Chancellor wants you in his clutches, he'll find a way to have you. If you're clever, you'll figure out how to keep him from wanting you.
Could I be any more Chandler?
Huh?
No, it's the Onyx Chandler, so I made a friends quote.
Oh, yeah. He sighed, seeming to struggle with something. I really am busy, despite appearances. Let me think. What can I... Perfect. Vadian! We're now about to meet our second possible love interest. The commander seized the attention of another elf, who immediately stopped what he was doing and walked towards us. He sent a look at the commander, then his gaze fell on me.
Who's this?
A human.
Yes, Commander, I noticed, but...
It's like if you brought like a cat and onto like to a friend's house, and the person's like, "Oh, who's this?" And then the person's like, "A cat." It's like, yes, I can see it's a cat.
Shit. I can see that. She's for the Onyx Chandler, and no, I do not know what he wants with her.
I began to notice tension between the new elf and Lacey. They stared at each other in silence for a few long seconds. Now, huh?
Rivalry.
Yeah, rivalry right here. That was when I realized that the ship had begun to move. It was the strangest sensation, and it threw my balance just enough that I had to crouch down to steady myself.
Are you alright?
And there he goes. Far too easy. Come with me, Lysega. Lysega! You have some things to explain. Calipol and Lacey left immediately, leaving me with the new elf. He held out his hand, offering it to help me with my balance. So we can take his hand or don't take it.
I think it probably doesn't trust elves that much at this point yet.
Yeah, so say don't take it?
Yeah.
It was a struggle, but I managed to right myself all on my own. I swayed unsteadily, but I managed it all the same. The elf didn't look too put out. He lowered his hand and took on a somewhat timid smile.
First time on a ship?
Yes. Oh, there it is. There's the T-Rex. Wasn't that obvious? Was it common to have spent time on a ship? No one I knew had ever been on a ship, not one like this. There have been a lot of new things happening to me lately. Thank you, you seem nicer than Lacey.
I'll do the first one.
This one. I don't know if finding myself aboard a ship like this is any stranger than me in hordes of moony elves.
Moony elves. Moony? A lot of people think we're nocturnal.
But you're not?
Not any more than anyone else.
I could tell he was very curious about why I was here, and he was looking for a way to ask.
If you don't mind, how did you end up...
We can tell him, ask him why he wants to know, or don't tell him anything.
I think we can just tell him.
Tell him. Lacey tracked me down for the Onyx Chandler. I don't know why I always say Chancellor. Onyx.
Sounds more logical, I guess.
Yeah. Onyx Chandler. Evidently, I drank something that he thinks is his property, and thus, I am now his property myself.
You... what?
You know, this reminds me of that, I think Angel posted this post on, in the server at one point, but it's like, a vampire bites a fae, and the vampire claims that, now the fae is, the vampire's sire, so they control them. And the fae claims that the vampire is actually controlled by the fae because the vampire ate something that the fae owns, which makes, you know, them controlled by the fae. So they go to, like, a lawyer to, like, figure out what's going on. And then the lawyer's like, congratulations! And they're like, for what? Your marriage!
Yeah, that's funny. You... what? What? That's ridiculous. Garleans don't take possession of people. That's slavery. What does he think he's doing? He can't just afford himself exceptions.
I watched the elf as he jumped from one outrage to the next, but it only lasted a moment before he regained his composure.
Are you hurt? Did he hurt you? Did he force you to come aboard? He can't force you to come aboard. Dillaway has no official standing, no stat. There's no command.
So we can say, yes, he made me, or I was right to leave Edric anyway.
I would say both of these are true. I think,
Again, it's about, like, what stats you want as well.
Yeah, I think go with the second one. We want to be, like, independent.
Yeah. This is going to sound very strange to say. Perhaps I would have preferred different circumstances, but I'm looking forward to seeing Gahalia.
You are? Well, no, it's not strange, not exactly. Who's to say where you come from? It's only that Gahalia isn't usually where people flock to. They flock away, actually. But, given that you came aboard with Lasega... Lasega isn't someone I'd wish on my worst enemy. He thinks that if someone is defenseless, they are simply at the mercy of people who are stronger. So he pushes people who can't stop him.
So we could say he's right, he's wrong, I can defend myself, or then I should learn to defend myself.
Yeah, let's go to the last one.
This one?
Yeah.
Then my first order of business is to learn the most effective and diverse ways to kill elves.
Wow. Okay. Mass Effect dialogue wheel here. I'm slightly uncomfortable.
Clever or good?
Let's go good. We're fierce like that.
You know, I'm gonna say real quick.
Oh boy. I'm messing it up, aren't I?
No, you're not. This game lets you make, like, this is one of those things where, one of those games where you're not, unlike a lot of, like, things like Hakuoki or whatnot, you're allowed to make your own choices. It has no standing on what route you end up on. The only thing is, you should be consistent so that your stats are high enough to get through one climactic scene, basically.
Makes sense.
At least you were warned.
Oh, I haven't even... My name is Fedane Millerose. What's your name? Oh, it's the same last name as the captain, isn't it?
Yep. Alenka. Hadn't I heard Millerose before? Well, truth be told, retaining names was currently at a low priority. But I think that was the commander's surname as well. Were they related?
Well met, Alenka. I'll show you to a hammock if you'd like. It's very crowded, but at least you'll only be among women.
Women are hardly any more safe than men. Are the women here soldiers? Commander Calipoa?
I think the second question makes sense.
Yeah. Your people let their women fight?
Well, yes. My people have never distinguished between men and women that way. Do yours?
Sort of. There aren't really soldiers in Edric, but there are roles.
Did they restrict you from being what you wanted?
No, Edric has lazy tradition, and well, I lived in the woods, made my own rules.
That sounds blissful. Yeah. Farming.
Yeah, it's very great to almost starve to death in the woods every year. Very blissful.
Dig in the dirt, see if you can find any bitter roots to eat. If you don't, well, you starve.
But yeah, it reminds me, like, there's a whole subset of fiction that's called pastoral fiction, where, like, the idea is, like, seeing the city as, like, this corrupting force, and the country as this kind of, like, healing force, that if you go out into the country, you can, like, solve your problems and stuff. Which is still, like, a big thing today. But I always think, like, nah, there's problems no matter where you go.
At least apparently she scours enough from the dirt to afford, like, hair products and skin lotion and makeup.
Yeah, she looks pretty nice for somebody who supposedly...
For a dirt farmer,
for a dirt farmer. Also, Azure, you're so right that Ian does look like he needs to poop every second. Poor man.
Only when he's recently interacted with Lacey.
Yeah, you know it. You know it. He's like, oh, Lacey is just a stinky, stinky man. You know, Lacey does look like he probably stinks. When was the last time Lacey showered? No one knows.
Nah, elves don't have body odor. They're perfect. Right? They don't poop either. Or
Also, the sound you're probably hearing, Azure, is me picking up and putting down my cup. The ship's innards weren't anything like I'd have imagined. It was so dark and almost impossible to see anything.
You can find it now, can't you? I really shouldn't go any further. Privacy and all. If you need anything, well, I have to get back to duty, but truly.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if... Oh shoot, because I played by myself, all these names are here.
Oh no.
I'm gonna show off the characters that we just met, basically. So we met Calipoa. So here she is. Calipoa Millerose is a newly appointed commander in the 1st Division of the Forces, under the rule for Uncle General Phelan. To say that her ascension was at all due to familial favoritism would be a grave mistake. There have been few who've mastered the sword as fast as she, and fewer still who couple the skill with drive and presence. Calipoa is the only daughter of Recklin and Aliwell Millerose. Aliwell, the second eldest princess of the reigning Leorian king and queen, and Recklin, the second eldest son of Galoils and Mitwen Milrose. Although one's pedigree often means little in Gahalia, she is undeniably a pride to her family, and given the status of her family, a pride to all of Gahalia. But those who know her personally have remarked in hushed tones she is not always so laudable. Uh-oh. Then we have Vadian here, and as you can see, here's the heart at the bottom, suggesting he's our other love interest here. So, the loveliest bloom comes from a barren garden, but so unaware of itself, so surrounded by prickles and weeds, it will either think itself no better or think itself hopelessly lost. The mystery of how Vadian managed to cultivate such a soft heart in such an unforgiving atmosphere, no less how it managed to remain uncrushed in the 6 decades Vadian has been alive, piques the interest and ire of many. He is, they will say, surely they will say, surely destined for tragedy, eventually to be consumed or snuffed out by the pressure. To his fortune, Vadian has no interest in complete surrender just yet. His is a quiet, perhaps ridiculous optimism, which nets him a few allies and many enemies. He has become self-sufficient, prone to dreaming, and forced on occasion to become uncomfortably bold.
Alright.
Let's see. I think we had all the places down.
Yeah.
In terms of lore, I'm looking to see which ones. I think we did all of this. Like, there's a couple extra ones here, but that's because of my own playthrough. This has taught me I can't do the other playthroughs because I'll have to wait till we're done.
We don't need to read through all the lore either.
Yeah.
I think it's fine to just experience the world through the story itself.
Yeah. Understandable. I think I'll still just go over the people, at least. Just because it might be a bit easier to, like, get an idea on the characters that way. So we can say this is foreboding. Can you tell me more about Gahalia? Tell me more about yourself, Lacey, or I don't need anything. So this is one of those moments where we could keep talking until the end. So we could pick all of these options. Or pick none of them.
Well, any questions I think is good.
Yeah.
Playing her curious.
Yep. Can you tell me more about Gahalia, your people? I have no idea where I'm going. He gave a heavy sigh.
I can tell you that Galia is a dark place, and that we don't welcome outsiders. I'm afraid things will be very difficult for you.
That's not... Can you tell me something a bit more specific?
Galia is a small island. We live in one primary city with a very dense population, completely encircled in a forest wall. We are known for our forces, an army that enlists more than 2/3 of our population. Well, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We are essentially mercenaries, though be mindful who you repeat that to. Most Gaalians don't appreciate the term.
Noted.
I wish I could think of how to prepare you.
Tell me more about yourself, then.
Me? Well, I'm a scout for the forces. 1st Division.
Is that like what Lacey is?
Yes, exactly what let's say, guys.
I need you to know that at some point that nickname is going to catch on to everybody and everybody will start calling him Lacey and he'll hate it and it's great. Do you know the commander?
Amazing. The commander? Oh, yes. She and I are cousins. We were born within weeks of each other, so we're close. You'll find a lot of my family speckled across the chain of command.
Does that mean you're important?
Ouch. oh, no, not at all.
Lacey. You knew Lacey was involved with my arrival?
I saw the two of you arrive, yes.
So we can say you noticed me come aboard then. You don't need to worry so much he kept his distance, or you must really hate him.
Yeah, let's just flat out say it.
Yeah. Do you and Lacey have history?
Yes.
Do you hate him?
Yes.
And that's it.
Wow.
So just go, I don't need anything, because this is just, oh, this feels pretty foreboding.
Yeah, that's fine.
I understand. Oh, wait, no, that's you.
I understand. Take care.
Left alone for the first time since morning, I stared down the narrow pathway before me. Well, what I could see of it. It seemed far less busy down here, but occasionally I'd feel the movements of others around me. I eventually found the chamber Vadian had told me about. I was starting to see better. Perhaps my eyes had been adjusting after all. It didn't help that Gahalians seemed intent on keeping everything in shades of black.
They're goth elves.
Yeah, basically. Though it was early in the evening, all the hammocks I could see were filled. The sleeping elves were, as far as I can tell, all female. I think...
So they are nocturnal.
I think, I mean, they can come out during the day and stuff, so it's not... not exactly nocturnal.
It's probably like most ships, people share bunks. And
Yeah.
Work in shifts.
Yeah. Also, I just want to say, one of the things that I really, besides, like, all the stuff that I mentioned last time about the things that I like about this game, I like the fact that even though it has a focus on elves, the elves aren't, like, I feel like most fantasy stuff tends to be like, elves are like this, orcs are like this, dwarves are like this, like, without really any, variations on that. But the elves in this are very different than the quote-unquote typical elves you see in most other fantasy stuff. And I really do like that. I like that the story actually tries to take things in a different direction.
Yeah, it's always nice to not always stick to the standard.
I scanned the hammocks for a while, searching for an empty one. It was difficult to tell from where I stood, but I thought I spotted one in the third row. There was also an awake elf who had been staring at me since I entered. Ask the elf or check on the third row.
Like, I'm always up for more dialogue, but I don't know, it feels weird. It feels a bit out of character to ask. What do you think?
Whatever you want to do.
I mean, I just want more dialogue.
Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, I'm fine with either of these options. So, it's up to you. Top one? Ask the elf. Pardon me? The elf's brows flew up. She continued to stare, but she didn't say a word. I realized belatedly that this elf looked different from the others. Were it not for the ears, I'd have thought her human. Try again, or try checking on the third row.
Let's try again, I guess.
Pardon me, my lady. The elf's silence continued. Try once more. Perhaps she doesn't understand me. How rude, or try checking on the third row.
Let's go for the second one.
This one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't understand me, can you? I sighed.
I knew it. I knew that would work.
Yeah. I'm thinking what voice to use. I can understand you perfectly fine.
Wow.
Her unfamiliar accent was thick and her words a little awkward, but nevertheless, she could understand me. Tips Fedora, milady.
She's a goblin, apparently.
Yeah. I was thinking about using my country accent, but there's a character that I definitely want to use it for, so I'm saving it for that character.
Alright.
Oh, how silly of me to assume you weren't just ignoring me. Are you a prisoner? No! I found myself answering out of reflex, even though certainly I may well have been. Uh-huh. I just wanted to find a hammock. I didn't want to step on any toes. The elf sighs. Who told you to come down here? We can say Vadian or just
Yeah, just tell her who.
Okay.
Top one.
Vadian Milrose. Then I suppose. Alright, fine. You can sleep in any of the unoccupied hammocks. Follow. I felt a little relieved as I followed the elf past the first row of hammocks. We moved past the third, all the way into the back of the chamber. I'm so glad that I decided to use this voice for her, because while she does reappear at points in the story. She's not like a major character, she's a side character. I don't think I could handle this voice if she appeared more often than she does.
You went sleep in the back.
It's instinct on a ship to want to be near the exit. Further back you are, the longer it takes to get out. Looking at you, and I think it's in everyone's best interest that you stay secluded. Say fine with me, or why is that?
Yeah, that's pusher a bit.
And why is that? You're not Gahalian. Alright? You're not Gahalian, and you're on a Gahalian warship. You really need further explanation. Not keen on taking any more abuse after the day I had. I kept quiet. Besides, the realization I was on a warship threw my mind. If I'd been thinking about it, of course that's what this all was. All the elves were soldiers. The elf motioned at me, The elf motioned at one of the empty hammocks and took her leave of me. When she was gone, I climbed into the hammock and tried to burrow into it as deep as I could. It was surreal. Like I was in the belly of a giant beast. I was left alone for the rest of the night. Those around me seemed to sleep soundly, as though theirs was a hard-earned slumber. I didn't seem to concern them. Come morning, I had gotten little sleep. I had spent the night lying still in my hammock, marveling at all the things I didn't know. I couldn't stop wondering about the Kunthatal and what it might do to me. The hopeful part of me had rendered the Kunthatal physically innocuous, if only because it had been a day and a half and I was still fine. But the other parts of me, the parts of me that also recognized my situation aboard a massive ship, destined for a place I'd never been, filled with people I'd never seen, would remember that there must be a reason for all of this. There simply had to be a reason Lacey dragged me aboard, a reason he was sent to find the Kunthatal in the first place. If nothing else, I was tangled tight in a web I could barely understand. Around the time the elves who had been sleeping when I first arrived were waking up, laying still with only my wonderings had become too much to bear. I quietly snuck out of my hammock and made my way back into the hall. The hall was busier than it had been the evening prior. The majority of the elves were moving in one specific direction, deeper into the ship's hold. The jumbled sounds of the elves speaking to each other hit me with a realization their language was not my own. It shouldn't have come as a surprise, but it did. Perhaps it was because the elves I'd spoken to so far all knew my language, but now I was giving it some thought that was very strange. So follow the majority of the elves deeper into the ship, or go back up to the deck.
Let's go back up on deck.
Okie doke. I decided I didn't need or really want to know what all the elves were up to. Truthfully, heading deeper into the ship sounded like a terrible idea. So I made my way back to the deck. The sight of the ocean would make me feel less imprisoned. I had no true hope of escape. I could swim, but not that well.
Yeah, swim like 20 hours back to shore.
Yeah. The deck was just as busy as it had been before. We were out at sea, and past the ship all around, all was blue. Edric was long gone. The elves scattered across the deck like spiderlings and ignored me yet again whenever I got in their path. I tried to ignore them in return and focus my attention on the ocean. Out of sight, out of mind? That's better, or this is just making it worse?
I don't know, honestly. Yeah, let's say making it worse, I guess.
Making it worse. Of course, sometimes it's almost a curse to be self-aware. I knew the elves were there. I could feel them moving around behind me. I couldn't ignore them, and blinding myself to their actions only made panic bubble up in my chest.
Identify yourself.
The voice approached from the side, demanding, intense. I felt my body tense in response.
Now.
Worse than might have been Lacey's the day before, I sized the man up as best I could. His hair was certainly not typical of these elves. I chastised myself for not keeping an eye out, as I'm sure I would have seen him coming. Refuse to answer or identify yourself.
Let's not be stupid.
Yeah. Alenka, I was forced to come aboard this ship yesterday.
You're from the human town?
Yes.
Then why were you brought aboard?
The Kunthatal asked Lacey, do you really need a reason?
Let's do the second one. Just to get this name spreading around.
Yeah, that would be a question for Lacey.
Who? Lacey?
I felt a small smile take form on my face. Yes.
And who is this Lacey?
I believe he said he was a scout.
A scout? Lesega?
If you prefer. You remain quiet, unblinking.
Nice. I see.
He lowered his weapon.
Then I don't need to know anymore.
That was all? I watched him leave with disbelief. I noticed that some of the elves passing had been paying us some attention, though their expressions were mostly amused. Stay aboard the deck or go back into the hold?
Let's stay on deck.
Whatever was so funny, the elves went back to ignoring me after the demanding elf took his leave. I took a deep breath and looked back out at the water.
Oh, right, what is his voice again? What are you doing?
His voice trickled down my spine. Though I'd only met him yesterday, I recognized the sound of him immediately. Lacey. Be smug, be aggressive, be careful.
Let's be smug. It's always fun.
Here I was worried you'd abandon me.
On the contrary, I've been keeping a close eye on you. I don't get paid if you get lost.
Where do you expect me to get lost? He waved at the ocean! Ah.
We're far off the coast in deep ocean now. The closer we get to Gaalia, the colder that water gets. The deeper the ocean, the more violent the thing is lurking beneath the water. I would be mindful.
I couldn't help but wonder if he wanted me to try jumping into the water. Right, because if something were to happen to me, you wouldn't get paid.
Noted, jumps off.
Goodbye!
Just flips him off whilst you fall.
Yeah.
Exactly. Remember that I'm not above tying you to something down in the hold.
But then you'd have to take care of me, such a hassle. He rolled his eyes.
I noticed Imra speaking with you earlier.
Imra? The elf with the sword?
It wasn't a sword.
The elf with the blade pointed at me?
If something like that were to happen again, tell them you've been summoned by the Onyx Chandler. Or if you must, tell them to take it up with me.
I'd rather not, or I'm sure you're not looking out for me.
Oh, so we can't agree with them?
Yeah, I guess not.
Let's go with the second one then.
Yeah. In the right light, it sounds like you're trying to protect me.
Protect my interests. You've made yourself valuable, and you must be kept intact.
Then it sounds like you should treat me a little better.
You're being treated exceptionally well.
I beg to differ.
Beg all you like. It'll get you nowhere.
Lacey stood still and watched me in silence for a few uncomfortable seconds. What do you get out of all of this? Why does the Onyx Chandler want the Kunthatal? Or remain silent until he leaves?
Let's go for the second one. I think it's important to figure out what that thing is.
What does the Onyx Chandler want with me?
With the Kunthatal, I'm not completely sure, but the Kunthatal is ancient. A lot of research and theory has been spent on the Kunthatal, and what you all so unceremoniously drank was the only physical Kunthatal we've ever found.
What is it?
A marrow.
Yes, but...
I don't know. Have you...
Lacey's voice trailed off as his attention shifted to another elf who was approaching. Oh, here's another love interest.
You are a very strange woman.
Lo and behold, another elf. He was not wearing either of the uniforms I had come to associate as scout or soldier. And though his curiosity was unnerving in context, he seemed less hostile than most of his kin. Certainly eons above the approach of the last stranger. I am not the only strange one, or that's not nice, or what do you expect?
Last one.
This one? Well, pardon me. Merely lost in a sea of bizarre pale ales, all carrying swords and frowns. Forgive me if I look a bit dazed.
I'll have you know, most humans find elves fascinating.
Is that before or after the elves have abducted the humans and taken them aboard their warship?
Is this guy your favorite?
he, he is. He is my number one.
Gotcha. You, abducted?
The new elf switches his glance to Lacey for the first time, seeming to understand the situation immediately. In a manner of speaking, I heard a soft and amused scoff from Lacey's direction.
I didn't expect, but then it makes sense. You must not have known what was going on before.
You know something?
Not as much as I'd like. That's why I came over here to speak with you. Let me ask you something. No, it's not our Millerose. Have you noticed anything odd? Sensory changes, noises, feelings?
Yeah, we there's a lot of Milleroses in this. As Vadian said, the Milleroses are kind of sprinkled all along the chain of command because it's a big family. Lysega's gaze turns to me with interest. Perhaps it was what he was going to ask me before. Answer honestly, fish for information, refuse to answer.
Let's fish a bit.
Okie doke. Maybe, can you be more specific?
Do I need to be? Most people don't consider odd noises, sensory changes, or very unusual sensations to be at all mundane.
I'm not currently living my regular life.
This I'll submit. How about colors you've never noticed in quite the same shade before? Or noises you can't place? That eerie weight of an unseen, unnatural presence? Perhaps the feeling of shedding your skin?
What?
I suppose no.
Oh, this is another love interest that we haven't met yet that we're now just meeting.
I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know what the
there
voice
he
of
is.
speaking.
There he is.
Oh, jeez. There's the golf boy. Arnold. Oh, wait, this is, yes. You're not supposed to be here, Heron.
That's perfect for him. It's honestly what I would imagine him with. Yet another elf approached. It prompted a sigh from the first.
Like how he's looks like he's leaning into Heron's personal space.
Yeah, and Heron's just like, oh god.
Ugh, yeah. Is this what you call inconspicuous? You couldn't at least try to blend in. Calippoa gave me permission not to make an ass of yourself.
Then the new elf seemed to finally realize I existed, and he seemed confused.
What?
What?
Look, these three guys on the road. Something about it. Who are you? Why are you? If you thought I was charming, Madrale, just wait until you get to know Ernal. My brother has the grace of an elephant. Why is this human aboard the Bastion, Heron? The Onyx Chandler. Dillaway wants her. Get details from him.
I'll have you know, I'm not thrilled about it either.
Why? I'm sure he has a reason. Not that he needs one. You already have that one human trophy. She's not human. She's half That doesn't matter. What does Dilloway want with this human?
I focused my attention on the first elf, Heron, who seemed to know something he wasn't telling. Unfortunately, his attention was focused on me in return. Both of us stayed silent, willing the other to speak first. This is...
Staring contest. For the love of the heart, this is not the time or place. If neither of you care to explain, both of you need to get off deck. Especially you, Heron. You just keep attracting the curious up here.
So we can say, I drank the Kunthental, or I don't know anything.
Yeah, let's go with the top one.
I inhaled a
Just
deep
because
breath.
it'll probably annoy Lacey.
Yeah. I drank a spice Lacey referred to as a marrow, a Kunthe...
The Kunthental? I knew it.
His palpable excitement did little to comfort me. So, what's gonna happen to me?
After consuming Kunthental, I'm surprised you're alive.
What? So it is a poison. It is a poison after all. Somehow in my gut, I knew it to be true.
No, calm down. The fact remains you're alive. What does that mean? Well, that's the truly fascinating question. It lost whatever potency it had over the years. It never worked quite the way Delier thought it did. Both possible, yes. But you hope for something else, of course. Of course, the potential is...
Excuse me? The explanation?
I'm trying to explain. The explanation is that this is so unusual and unknown that no one knows what will happen.
Not actually information, is it?
So exciting. I can't even tell you with complete certainty what the Kunthental is. It's all muddled up in fragmented history, lost, retold, obscured, guessed at. So much so that the likelihood what you ate was actually Kunthental, that Kunthental actually exists, is slim. But if it was real, and anything like what our historians thought it would be, you shouldn't be alive. So as it is, something is off. Something is wrong. Or someone is lying.
I would be thrilled were that the case. It was Lacey who declared my spice to be your Kunthental in the first place.
She ate the Kunthental, or at least she ate what Dulier determined to be the Kunthental. Then Dulier was wrong. I don't know, Ernal. His machinations are rarely hollow. He's afforded one misguided and gullible leap into nonsense every now and then. Quite the leap, Kunthental. What about the vibrations? Do you feel like you're underwater?
Karen's attention snapped back to me. No.
If it was Kunthental, just because she's not dead yet. Ernal, have a bit of tact. Tact? What does that mean? Explain.
Explain. Heron, explain. Tell me what you know about the Kunthental. Yeah, exactly. Galia, explain.
So
About the Kunthental. Well, what at least you think you know. Even if what I drank was not actually the Kunthental, I want to know all I can.
Right, of course. The Kunthental is an ancient marrow, referenced throughout the oldest of our preserved history. The information is fragmented, so ultimately, all we can do is guess at how it was used. It seems it's some of our most prestigious warriors who are connected to the Kunthental, our leaders. Some believe they laced their weapons with it, others believe they mended their wounds with it. Some believe they consumed it. as you have.
I could have really done without him looking so excited at that fact. And...
It was an augment. No, that's not the right word. A right?
But what did it do?
It enhanced them somehow, made them stronger, or something else. The references are always vague. Not pure strength, something big, but obscure. The reigning theory. It enhanced them at a cost. This is why my brother seems to reject the idea that you've consumed the Gothenthal and are still alive. If he wanted a Gothenthal, and this is what he got, Dulier won't be pleased. Well, if he doesn't want her, or if he doesn't want her.
Yeah.
Oh, he will. I just don't think he'll be pleased.
And who they're talking about is the last possible love interest.
Ah. Chandler Bing.
Yeah. Hydrate or dihydrate. So true, Azure.
Going even further into the personal space. It's getting crowded up here.
Yeah, it's getting pretty crowded over here. Heron.
It's starting to look like an album cover over here.
Yeah, let's go. It's like a Evanescence.
Yeah.
As you said, I would like off this boat now.
I just want this scene to continue forever and just keep cramming more and more
yeah,
characters.
more and more characters until there's like 20
like
characters.
20 people, yeah.
Heron, I told you to keep out of sight, you maggot.
Holy shit.
Heron groaned.
And that's that. This is on your head, Heron.
Nevertheless, Heron seemed unfazed.
Try to keep note of anything odd you might feel. Bear it great attention, it could end up extremely important. Allow yourself plenty of rest. I love how he's so involved.
Yeah, he's so into it. He's so excited about it. Everyone else is just kind of like, oh, you're probably gonna die. And Heron's like, okay, so let's check on the status. Do you taste stars? Do you like feel like you're gonna fly up into the sky? Do you feel like you're gonna melt into a gushy puddle?
Does your skin feel like cotton candy?
Yeah. I love him so much. He's so good.
Every nuance, even the barest of threads tied to the Gothenthal, it's all invaluable, in affluence as well as influence.
And that is why the Onyx Chandler wants me?
One of the reasons. Dulier calls himself the Onyx Chandler because he's one of our foremost entrepreneurs. And a Gaalian entrepreneur is by nature... Well, I don't mind that. If you would rather a different, slightly more eccentric patron...
I will string you to the mast, and there you will stay if you do not.
He's going. I have to go. Ta-da. Keep precious care of yourself.
Erna watched Heron and Calipoa move away. Though Heron had seemed irreverent at first, he was now moving off as quick as he could, appearing thoroughly cowed. Lacey gave me a long look, then turned to leave as well. And then all that was left was Arnold. It is awkward. So we could try to talk to him or leave him alone.
Hell yeah, let's talk to this weirdo.
He wasn't paying attention to me, still watching the space where Heron had disappeared. It seemed he was considerably less interested in me than his brother. That was a
He was just here.
He was just here. Where did he go?
Brother! No!
No! And Heron's like, oh my god, I'm just over here now. And he like turns around and he's like, oh, there you are. He's like in constant slow motion.
Yes, Asher, he's been turned into a cow.
Yeah.
No,
Moo.
cowed as in the root word for coward. Scared.
Your name is Earl. What a great way to start. Surprise, he looked back to
My
me.
name is Earl. Yes.
Silence hung over us for a second.
You are.
Alenka.
Amazing.
What more do you know of the Kuthantal or Kuthantal? Is your brother going to be okay? Can you tell me more about the Onyx Chandler? What do you do? That's all. We can ask all these questions.
Oh, okay. Then let's ask all of them.
Can you tell me more about the Kuthantal, Ernal?
My brother knows more about it than I do. It's a fascination of his. But if you're asking my personal opinion, it's far less optimistic than Heron's. I don't think the Kothental was a secret treasure or secret power. I think it was a punishment.
So that's why you think it'll kill me?
I think if that was Kothental and you did consume it, you'll be lucky if all it did was kill you.
I didn't know what to say.
I'm sorry. Perhaps I could do it sometime.
At least he's self-aware a little bit. Is your brother going to be okay? He's in trouble, isn't he?
Yes. He's not supposed to be aboard. Kalipua is notoriously quick to bend rules as far as Gaalian commanders go. But the fools who take advantage, too much advantage, are bloodied and broken.
Is that what's gonna happen to Heron?
No, not the way he probably deserves. But she is our cousin, and family counts for something, even here.
Cousins, huh? As you can tell, there's a lot of that.
A lot of cousins.
Yeah. This is a pretty big family.
Yes. Ernal Millerose, Kalipua Millerose, Fadane Millerose, all died by her grandfather.
Why is he on the ship? I'm glad he'll be okay, or lucky him.
It's a lucky him, I guess.
Okie doke. It's good to be connected.
Indeed.
Though he didn't sound convinced. Isn't it? Or, well, at least he'll be okay. Say nothing.
Let's go with the first one, I guess.
It's not?
Do you come from a powerful family?
His tone and face suggested he very much doubted I did. No, I don't.
Then you don't know what you're talking about.
I suppose I don't. He watched me for a moment, then nodded his head ever slightly. Then he fell into silence, glancing away. Can you tell me more about the Onyx Chandler? It seems like you know the Onyx Chandler, Dulier?
I do. We've known each other for years. If you're hoping to gain insight into what he wants with you, you'll be disappointed. Like I am at all times.
He keeps his motivations to himself.
Not always, but my loyalty is certainly not with you.
What did I do to you? So he's your friend, or fine?
Let's go top one.
Top one? What have I done?
You've done nothing to me. All I know of you is your entanglement with the Kothental, a rare, almost mythical, and incredibly valuable substance precious to my people, allegedly in your human belly. I don't know you, I don't trust you, I don't like what you represent either.
What do you do? What is it you do aboard the ship?
Why?
Why not? I haven't had the chance to talk to many of you, and you at least speak the same language I do.
I'm a soldier. We all are. I'm currently tasked assisting the ship's quartermaster. It's not exciting.
What were you doing near Edric?
I can't tell you that.
Then... Alright. That's all. I'll leave you alone then. He nodded and wasted no time going on his way. The strangeness began that night. Before we do that, compendium people, we've met two more peeps. So we got Ernal here, another love interest, as I said. Some people take strangeness in stride, but others find little worse than being outside the commonplace. Ernal was born in the middle of an interfamily war of wills, an instant pawn in a game he had no interest in playing. His tale is not of overbearing expectation or unforgiving duty which he craved, but rather an expectation to rebel. He was born to the prodigal son, not the demanding general or his more esteemed sons who enacted high stakes, strict rules, and perilous demands of their children. There was nothing asked of him but to revel in the role of an upstart, to bask in the freedom he was offered outside the confines of Gahalian expectation. Instead, he found himself craving for approval from Gahalia. He embraced his grandfather's legacy instead of his father's, wishing to be a warrior more than an outcast. He has a blistering temper, indignant pride, and unnerving determination, all of which thoroughly blinded by desperation.
Oh, look who it is.
Oh my gosh, it's Sushi! Hi, Sushi, how's it going? I love you so much! I hope you're doing well. Hello! Hi, Sushi,
Hello,
long
hello.
time no see. Yeah, me and Rolf are in here, playing a dating sim. A really well-made dating sim where you can design your own character like we did, and you have, different like stats and stuff that you get, and that determines like the types of choices you can make. And there's also an inventory and clothes and everything. It's cool.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. Which also this gives us a chance to kind of see here's our
Sort of doing
stats
good
at the
on that
moment.
tenacity.
Yeah.
At least I think this is good.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see
Oh,
how
boy.
things go.
We are getting a bit spread out maybe in stat-wise. But
Yeah. Well, it's fine. We'll keep trucking and see what happens.
we're just not charming otherwise.
The game is called Ebon Light, but we always refer to it as an Elvish Twilight because all the characters look kind of like Twilight vampires, but actually they're elves. Oh, and here's Heron, my boy. Heron is a master of capitalizing. He takes the hand he's dealt and makes the most of it, all the while seeming to thrive no matter what way he's forced to adapt. A critic might say it would be easy to roll with the punches when your lot in life is wealth, power, and infamy, but Heron isn't concerned with justifying his existence. He sees the world in his own peculiar way and uses his means to achieve personal goals, which other Gahalias perceive as frivolous or pointless. It's been considered that were Heron to ever set his sights on a larger ambition, he might be a force to be reckoned with, eerily capable of talking by and manipulating, bribing, and threading his way in and out of all manner of things. Perhaps thankfully, his concerns have always been personal and self-serving. The strangeness began that night. I'd settled in my hammock and began to drift off to sleep when cold hands seized hold of my lungs. They squeezed sudden and tight. My eyes flew open, but all I saw was the dark. All the light was gone. I wanted to cry out, but I didn't seem to be able. I'd lost my voice. No, I lost my throat. Panic was there, bubbling under my ribs, but on the surface I was calm. My eyes were open, searching the blackness, eagerly waiting for the page to turn. But after that, I don't remember. I fell asleep, I think. And then we were arriving. We were home, but not my home. We had arrived in Gahalia. Around me, the elves spoke excitedly. They were happy their journey was at an end. A long time must have passed, but I have no memory of it. My body was heavy. I wondered if I'd actually ever left the hammock. I know, right? Dang sea, Azure. I felt concerned, but the worry was still dull in the back of my mind. Questions formed slowly. How did I know it was morning? How did I know we had arrived at our destination? Had I been asleep or had I just forgotten? I gingerly stretched my legs and arms and slowly opened my eyes to the warm glow of lanterns. The weight I felt began to drain away. Despite my long and curious rest, I seemed to be waking quickly. I noticed some of the elves in the hammocks near me grow quiet. They began to stare. I was attracting more attention now than I had when I first arrived. Smile or ignore?
Let's ignore them.
Yeah. I turned my face from them. I had, after all, considerably more pressing matters to attend to. I began walking toward the stairs leading onto deck. Moving carefully and slow, I felt awake and light, and despite all the strangeness and the buried concern, I felt happy to be awake. But on the first step, my body filled with weight again. My legs were especially heavy, bearing down where I stood like heavy rocks. But worse, the world began to sway, a slow, sticky pendulum. Elves forming a line behind me urged me forward, caught in the busy fray of soldiers eager to disembark. Press on or stay still.
Let's press on.
I tried to move my legs, but the weight in them made it impossible. No matter how I strained, my legs refused to budge.
Seems our hair and clothes are becoming transparent.
I think it's just like showing the weirdness of the situation. Some of the elves behind me began to grumble in their impatience. Their complaints were escalating rapidly. Call out for help or experiment.
Let's be self-sufficient.
Ignoring the elves around me, I moved my right arm to the top of my legs and pressed my thigh. An attempt at prodding my legs into waking. The elves became increasingly restless, moving with a rising aggression around me. They would make to shove me, but I'd barely move. Was I not heavy only to myself? I didn't concern myself with them overmuch. I continued to prod my legs, trying to rouse them. Then I felt my thighs tighten, burst alive, and I was back in control, awake again.
Huh.
Once aboard the deck, I moved as fast as I dared to the rail, eager to be out of the way if my legs locked up again. I stayed there for a while until Lacey found me.
Human, it is time to go ashore.
I'm having trouble moving.
Is that so?
He obviously didn't believe me. I truly am. Everything feels wrong.
Then I'll carry you. The Sega.
Fabian approached the two of us from nearby, his icy stare fixed on Lacey. Lacey exhaled a deeply annoyed sigh.
Verdane, not right now. Belay your instinct to coddle the weak and helpless until I get her ashore. If dealing with her causes you such frustration, La Sega, I would gladly escort her to the Dulier myself. And what would that do for me? Hand her over and collect my gain?
Jocelyn, men. She doesn't need your help. She is a Galalian superpower newly becoming, after all. I felt the commander's strong grip as she pulled me against an armored body. The Onyx Chandler's waiting at the dock, Commander.
Oh, that's me.
Oh wait, that's you.
The Onyx Chandler is waiting at the dock, Commander. Thank you.
Shut up, Lacey. Despite it all, hearing the commander call him Lacey put a grin on my face.
Oh, good
I
work.
could feel him scowling. As we departed the bastion, I found myself hoping my mysterious symptoms would clear. Perhaps the sway of the ocean was exasperating me somehow. Perhaps I was seasick? Seasick. That's all.
Sure.
Listen, human. I don't know what Dulier has prepared for you, and it's true he's more powerful than he should be, but he doesn't have proper authority, and he's not the only one interested in you, or the Cuthental. It's not impossible to stand against him. Do you understand? Good.
And the woman ate the Cuthental in tea. Good luck, Dulier.
There he is, our final love interest.
Thank you, Lasega. Your well wishes mean a great deal.
I heard a small clink as Lacey was passed a small bag from a man with blindingly blonde hair. When had blonde ever blinded me before? What exactly was his hair made of?
Duly, Ernal, what are you thinking? What are you going to do with her? You know that you can't. Shh. Ernal, wait a second. We haven't introduced ourselves. But welcome to Gaalia, Miss Alenka. It is truly a pleasure. I am Dulier Laushust, or the Onyx Chandler. Could I be any more gentler? As you may have heard.
Calipoa helped me steady myself. She lingered a moment until she was satisfied I could hold myself up on my own. Then she gave me an encouraging smile and bustily went on her way. You are the Onyx Chandler.
Yes. Again, it's a pleasure. You and I have much to discuss.
Your hair.
The effect of it.
Yeah, that it just did where it was like shoo in a circle.
Oh yes. It will make it easy for you here. I'm easy to find in a crowd.
It's like looking into the sun. What's wrong with me? Or is something wrong with him?
The trip took a toll on you, Alenka. Let's get you indoors. A little help, Ernal?
Oh, hi, Owen. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? I hope you're doing well. I love y'all.
My brother would much prefer to assist you with this, Dulia.
No, wait. I'm not going anywhere with you.
Oh, I have no interest in forcing you, but I do believe I'm the only one who can really help you with your unfortunate predicament. I recall you ate my prize.
I didn't do that on purpose.
I expect not.
He chuckles in dry humor while Ernal sighs.
If you did, you would not be here. Not like this, would you?
How would I be?
Best not to dwell on that. With the ordeal you've been through, I'm not lacking compassion. Plucked out of some small, isolated village, the world spun out from beneath you.
How does he know the world was spinning? The world is spinning.
Manhandled and corralled by the likes of La Sega, and in this colorless isle of mine you probably can't tell up from down.
I've eaten ancient Gahalia poison that's weighing my body down, making the world spin, and your hair set aflame so blindly I could barely look at you.
Is that so?
I just love how, like, oh, it's okay.
That sounds terrible. And what a poor first impression. Then let me remind you, dear human, I can help you.
For what? What would be the price? Why would you want to?
In complete honesty, Miss Alenka, I paid a great deal to track down the Cothental that you ignorantly consumed. All that is left to do is study its effects on you.
And that is why you had Lacey drag me here, whether I liked it or not? What gives you the right to do that? You kidnapped me.
Oh, well, I'm very rich, so I can do whatever I want. You could say that, but you could also say that I saved you. If the Cothental has something unfavorable in store for you, here is the only place you wish to be if you wish to survive.
Also, that's awesome, Owen. I'm so happy for you. Heck yeah, Twitch Affiliate Club, let's go.
Further, I'm far from the only person who is interested in the Cothental. Others may be less gentle. You're in quite a lot of danger, I'm afraid. I won't pretend to be altruistic, of course. I seek selfish gains. But consider that this transparency is much more than you'll get from anyone else who would, and they will, seek to use you.
Where else could I go? I've met quite a few elves aboard the ship. There had been Vadian eager to help. Perrin had seemed to suggest I had another option with him. Where were they? Where was I? Why did the colors all become so blinding? And why was the world spinning? Why was I heavy? Why couldn't I remember?
Alenka.
Colonel sighed.
There she goes. Just add this to the long list of favors you owe me, Dulier.
There she goes!
That animation.
Just like, whoop!
Let's take her inside. But right when? Do you think so? You're so...
I could hear muffled voices. They weren't that far, but they were speaking through perhaps a door. I lay somewhere soft, my body snugly sunk into the cushions. I kept my eyes shut.
Certainly not judgmental. Well, he's in love. That is...
The weight from before was gone, but I was nervous. If I had tried to move and I couldn't, or what if I could move, only for the weight to come back again? I wasn't even entirely sure I was alive.
Did she... The ship was long lost before.
The voices seemed to be moving closer, I think. As I lay still, a great wave of sleepiness took hold of me. I was losing my grip on consciousness again. Of course I was. Fight it or sleep.
Fight.
I welled my strength and determination and struggled against sleep. The overwhelming drowsiness grew more desperate, but still I struggled to maintain awareness.
He is an ambitious man. It's not going to end there. Why, in all the time he's had control, why would he?
The voices were getting closer.
Did Alenka move?
Had I? Try to move your arm or stay still.
Yeah, let's move.
A wave of energy pushed out my arm, jerking it across my stomach faster than I anticipated. I was eager to abandon the feelings of helplessness, confusion, fogginess, and immobility as quickly as possible.
She's moving. Alenka? Alenka, can you hear me? Can you open your eyes?
I could try.
Excellent. Can you talk?
Could I?
Take your time. You've been asleep for a while now. When you're feeling better, you really need to eat something.
How long? How long this time?
Can you talk? Are you in pain?
I didn't feel any
I like
pain.
pain.
I feel quite comfortable, in fact. Sleepy, though, the drowsiness had yet to give up.
Can you understand me? She opened her eyes when I asked if she could. Alenka, try not to fall back asleep. That doesn't necessarily mean... And you fall back asleep.
Yep. They kept talking. Whatever they were saying became less and less important. How long had I been asleep? Why was I so sleepy? I didn't feel pain. I didn't feel hunger. All I felt was sleepiness.
We're losing her again. Ugh. She never acted like that before. It's improving.
Yeah, blink twice if you understand.
Yeah. Never. That sounds like we've been out a long time.
Yeah.
It better be. I do not know how much time we have.
I sat up and found myself in a dark room. My heart was pounding. I felt cold and very hungry. I seemed to be in a bedroom. There was a window nearby. Outside I could see the night sky. I was wearing something silky and soft. I climbed out of the bed and laid my bare feet on the cold floor. So this outfit is actually in our outfits tab here now.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
you see we have different clothes. This one's unlocked because I did it during that other playthrough. But we'll get it soon anyway. So.
Alright. Well, let's stay with what makes sense for the story now.
Yeah. And this section of the game is kind of a stealth section. So you see up the top here, we have noise level. Certain actions will cause noise. And if we exceed a certain level, we'll be found out that we're awake.
And killed, of course.
No, not killed. You'll just be found out. So you can't, like, snoop around anymore. So basically, there's not any penalty to being found out, from my experience, but you just lose out on anything you missed.
Limit on the amount of things you can do.
Yeah, basically. Because as soon as you hit that limit, you'll be found out. So, anyways, so...
Let's go to the window first.
Okie doke. I'm gonna save real quick, because this is a section that can be a little iffy. So yeah, let's go to the window. I approached the room window and peered outside. There was a garden, a low fence, and beyond that, a city street. What I could see of the city in the moonlight. It was overwhelming, towering dark spires stretching towards the sky, the highest of which disappeared completely into the sky. The window itself was latched shut. It would be easy to open. Open the window or leave it alone. And we can always go back to that as well.
Yeah. Let's search.
Search the bedroom. The room I was in was pristine and extravagantly decorated. I was worlds away from Aunt Vanya's hut in Edric, however it's pronounced. There was a dresser, a nightstand, and a dressing table with multiple narrow drawers. Examine the dresser, search the nightstand, search the dressing table, examine the room's artwork, or look somewhere else.
Let's start with the examine things. It sounds like it makes less noise.
Yeah. So examine the dresser then?
Sure.
I ran my hand across the surface of the dresser, a soft, delicate wood. My hand fell to the middle of the drawer and I gave a gentle tug. The drawer gave a quiet thump. It was locked. I couldn't see or feel a place for a key. It was perhaps locked another way. So we can force it open, keep searching for the... This means it's an unlocked choice. And this is our tenacity choice. Because we leveled up our tenacity enough that we can open this without worrying about the noise. And it is much less noise. If we forced it open, it would be like several noise levels. So noise level 1 is like nothing. We're still pretty good.
Alright.
I think it's like 10 is the max. Somewhere around there. There had to be some way to open it. The way was hidden somewhere, and it was only a matter of finding it. I ran my hand across every corner of the dresser, just about to give up when I felt a tiny latch on the underside of the top panel. The latch switched easily, and I heard an audible click. The drawer slid open. When I looked inside the drawer, I found a silky, translucent cloth wrapped around the form of a tiny box. I gently pulled the cloth away, so soft to the touch it seemed to melt between my fingers. The box, once revealed, was built into the bottom of the drawer. It had a delicate lid inlaid with painted colors of red and green that slid open with slight pressure. Inside the box, I found loose, tiny, iridescent scales and rings and pendants made out of the same scales. One of the rings stood out among them all, carelessly tossed into a corner, yet still utterly captivating. The ring had a scaled band of red and blue wrapping around the finger, topped with a small orb that seemed to maintain a very subtle glow. Take the ring and hide it. Take the ring and wear it. Leave the ring alone.
Let's take it and hide it.
Take it and hide it. Okie doke.
Yeah.
I decided to take the ring. Think it would be wiser to cover the tracks of my theft. I slid the drawer closed after replacing everything the way I had found it and looked around for somewhere to hide my prize. So now, let's see. Huh.
Well, she's hiding it somewhere in the room, I think.
Yeah. Search the
Let's
nightstand,
examine the-
search the table, examine the room's artwork.
Let's appreciate the art.
I took some time to examine the room's artwork. There were statues and statuettes on most of the surfaces, the walls covered in paintings. Even the drapery seemed to tell a story. I noticed that each extravagant piece was deceptive at first. The pieces seemed grand and happy, but only until I looked at them closer that they became morbid, sinister. Eye of the beholder, perhaps? So, here it is. I know what thing opens up after you look at that is Gahalian art. Gahalian art and fashion art, perhaps surprisingly widely popular across the Pillar Ocean. The cultural appetite Gahalians have for the lavish and expensive, combined with the brutality of their forces and seclusive nature, has altogether made their few exports highly valuable. The fashion elite of other cultures, eager to collect and mimic whatever is new on the stormy island. But Gahalia, too, develops its trends as a mirror of others, albeit in a morbid way, true to Gahalia's nature. They tend to adopt fashion, architecture, and style from those they've conquered. Every successful expedition, a surge of newly refined Gahalian art floods the island, and inevitably great demand from across the sea is met with great profit for Gahalian entrepreneurs, yet rarely the artists. As usual. Search the bedroom, go to the window, leave the bedroom.
Let's search some more.
Okay, so we can search the nightstand, search the dressing table.
Let's go to the nightstand.
The smallest nightstand near the bed was made up of stone and glass. The glass was colored, shining in the moonlight. There was a strip of parchment, stained with a single drop of blood, pinned underneath a heavy lantern. Take the parchment or leave it alone.
Let's take it. Probably make noise, but whatever.
Yeah, the parchment was snugly caught underneath the lantern. Forcing the parchment out caused the lantern to slide, loud in the quiet. I opened the parchment, careful not to touch the drop of blood. There was writing within that I, of course, could not decipher. I folded the parchment into a smaller square and kept it with me. So now we have the parchment. See?
Dressing table.
We have it in our inventory. I don't know where the ring went. That's very weird. Search the dressing table. A luxurious vanity sat across from the bed, with a mirror reaching the ceiling. The wood frame was black. The mirror's frame was a gold inlay. I glanced briefly at my reflection. I looked foreign to myself. Cheeks puffy, eyes dewy. I had been sleeping for a long time. Examine self closer. Search the vanity's compartments or leave it alone.
Let's do the top one first.
I needed closer to get a better look at my face. I couldn't put my finger on it, but something about my reflection was horrifying. Not the foreign gown I was wearing, nor the light perfume coming from my newly combed hair. Not the puffiness in my face. I touched my cheek, watching myself in the mirror. It felt warm, normal, alive. What? I hastily looked away. I spent the rest of my time averting my gaze from the mirror, trying to ignore the thumping in my chest.
Well then.
Yep, and that actually affected our stats a little bit, I think. Oh no. It actually didn't. I guess it's not time yet for that, or maybe that just didn't affect that. But there, you see that there's this right here.
Mm-hmm.
This tells us how much the Kunthantral has affected us mentally. So you can get, like, you either have a good grip on it or not, basically. So search.
Yeah.
The vanity's top was littered with small painted porcelain containers and black boxes. I opened a few of the porcelain lids, potpourri, powders, creams, makeup. The boxes contained little of interest. Combs, hairpins. One comb did catch my eye, not because it was especially pretty, but because the metal teeth looked particularly sharp and solid. Put the comb in your hair or leave it alone.
Yeah, let's just loot everything we can.
Yeah. Here we go. I fished the comb out of the box. I found it half buried in other metal pins. Then I put the comb in my hair and continued my search elsewhere. So yeah, now we have a comb.
Right, there's just a window left, I guess.
Well, we can leave the room as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we have both of these. I don't know where we put the ring. It's bothering me now. So yeah, there's going to the window, there's leaving the bedroom, or just going back to bed.
Let's go to the window.
Go to the window. I approach the room window, blah, blah, blah. So open it.
Let's open it. Yeah.
I unlatched the window, gliding it to gently open. The night air pushed in with unexpected force. It was windier outside than I'd realized. I gripped the windowsill and leaned out the room, briefly considering running out into the city. But no, not in this nightgown. It was far too cold, and it was far too unknown. Who's to say what was out there was safer than what's in here? When I leaned back inside, I noticed that I put my hand in some sort of sticky residue. It was dark like sap, and in a house and room so utterly pristine, it was suspiciously out of place. Curious. Perhaps I should close the window, though it would probably be trickier to shut quietly than it had been to open quietly. Close it or leave it open.
Can leave it open for now, I guess.
I decided to
Don't
leave
make
it
more
open.
noise. Yeah, getting back in bed seems a bit silly, so let's try to leave, I guess.
The bedroom door was unlocked and opened mercilessly without a creak. Outside the bedroom, I found myself in a hall that extended far both to my left and right. I could see a faint light coming from somewhere down the hall to my left, while to my right, I could only see a dark series of doors like the one I'd exited. Go down the hall to the left, go down the hall to the right, or head back into the bedroom.
Let's go left.
Okie doke. I steeled myself and carefully made my way down the left hall as quietly as I could. The closer I got to the light, the clearer the sound of a fire crackling. Drawing closer still, an exuberant smell took over my senses. Something was being cooked. Something which smelled delicious and to a stomach as bare as mine, utterly intoxicating. I inched my way to the very edge of the open archway, just inside the warm glow, the delicious smell. Turn back or peek in.
I mean, it's probably dumb, but let's peek in. Can imagine you'd be very hungry right now.
Unable to restrain myself, I carefully peered into the room with the glorious smell. Before me, I saw a large kitchen. A large fire was responsible for the bright glow, and just above the fire a pot, where no doubt the food could be found. My appetite, as ravenous as it was, I couldn't restrain myself any longer. I quickly made my way into the room, where I was inexplicably alone, and helped myself to the soup bubbling in the pot. Nothing was ever more delicious. Head back into the main hall, look for a knife, search the kitchen.
Hell yeah, let's grab a knife.
It occurred to me that being in a kitchen, there would surely be knives at hand. Eager for a means to defend myself, I searched the kitchen for a knife. I found one before too long, a large, unwieldy thing, but a very sharp edge. Head back into the main hall or search the kitchen.
Let's head back, I guess.
I backtracked until I was once again in front of my bedroom door.
Let's go to the right.
I decided to head down the right hall. The hall was dark and quiet. I felt relatively certain I was safe and alone. As I headed down the hall, I passed a series of doors that all looked similar. When I finally came to an entrance that was remarkably different from the rest, I paused in front of it and considered trying to enter. The room had two doors framed in an ornate, prestigious design. Enter the double-door room, keep going, head back.
Let's go in.
Doors were heavier than the bedroom door had been, but inside the room was much too dark to see anything. I thought I could make out the shape of drapes, and I could perhaps venture inside, pull them open, and let in the moonlight. Venture in and close.
Dumb, let's do it.
So do it?
Yeah.
I took a deep breath and made my way into the quiet, dark room. I headed straight for what I hoped was a window. I reached out my hands in the darkness, brushing them lightly across the fabric texture of window drapes. I felt a wink of relief as I pulled the drapes open.
Oh, lovely.
Ah! unmistakably human, or at least something very similarly to human. 3 skulls were propped up like trophies on a table. The skulls were preserved pristine, the pale bones shining in the moonlight. Where was I? Who are these people?
I'm disappointed. The woman I had watching you is obviously unworthy of her salary.
Yeah, this is what happens when you run out. So I guess it's like 15 is the noise gate.
Yeah.
I jumped. I didn't quite recognize the voice, even though I felt like I should have.
No need to be so tense. You are my guest.
I turned around and saw the blonde man from the docks. He had been talking to Erno before as well when I woke up. How many times had I woken up and fallen back asleep?
Are you feeling alright?
He stared intently, searching my face for its secrets. I was hungry. Why am I here? Who are you? Am I going to end up another trophy?
Yeah, let's go to the last one.
You!
I've startled you.
How long before I am reduced to a skull on display as well?
How? What?
Gently surprised, he contains a smile.
You've certainly been lurking around. You seem to have discovered my Western leatherback accolade.
Your what?
It's a long story. I'd be happy to tell it another time. If you're feeling up for it, there are some things the healers wanted me to ask you.
Are you angry? Alright. Do I have a choice?
Let's go, do I have a choice?
You're asking as though I have a choice.
Of course you have a choice. I stand to gain far more with you on my side than working against me.
But if I choose to work against you, it's not as though you'll let me do as I please.
Untrue. Whether or not you choose to stay in this house, I have gained something. Moreover, I'm unwilling to vilify myself quite so that I take you prisoner.
I doubt that. What have you gained? Fine.
Let's ask what he's gained.
And what is it that you've gained? His smile was cryptic, calculated.
Confirmation. A few promises. You may not choose to work with me, but either way, whatever effect you have on this society, I can obtain and control.
And what is that supposed to mean?
It means that no matter what you choose to do, one way or another I'll find a way to get what I need. Your very existence is, in a way, enough of a prize.
An unsatisfying answer.
Come, let's discuss this. Irele, a well-respected healer that I contracted to work with us, compiled a list of symptoms and proposed treatments.
Symptoms of the Cuthental?
Yes, what little research we have regarding the Cuthental always concerned its application to elven bodies. In a general sense, your kind are not as hearty.
What? How do you know that?
It's debatable, if you like. We only assume that a human succumbed to anything far easier, based on how our people respond to others. But I have no interest of your physical inferiority or my own superiority. These are mere assumptions, not facts. I'm only a casual racist. Still, it would be better to have contingency plans all the same, no? The research is grim for even the best of specimens.
Then what does the research say will happen to me?
The research only suggests what may happen. But don't lose heart. For every word of despair there is a word of hope, of defeat, power.
I'd rather be normal. What kind of power? You still haven't told me what specific dangers I face.
Let's go for the last one.
This one?
Yeah. Stay concerned with the danger for now.
Then tell me how it is I might suffer.
I only... Very well. First to mind, madness was a common theme among those who'd taken the Cothintal. Debilitating, dangerous, self-destructive madness.
Great. What else? Things have been a bit strange.
Say great.
Great. Fantastic.
Optimistically, the threads that lead to madness also suggest that taking the Cothintal was a desperate, reckless last stand for some end or other. Perhaps they'd already been driven mad.
One can hope.
We'll cling to hope wherever we can.
We?
Of course, you and I are both in an unexpected situation, forced to adapt.
I'm the one adapting. Then what are you proposing? Why do I get the feeling I'm not gonna like this?
Let's go to the top one. I can imagine you're getting pretty annoyed at this.
You're hardly the one who's had her entire life uprooted. You're hardly the one with a coveted plague in her body.
True on both counts, but don't discount my role in this. I'm rich and therefore very important. Do you know how many years I've spent tracking down the Cothintal you ate?
Drank.
43. Do you know how much coin passed hands to locate it?
Wait, 43? I don't care! Then how did I end up with it?
Let's say I don't care.
I don't care. None of which is relevant. The fact remains that it all occurred beyond my notice, without my consent, and certainly without my approval.
And since when have we not been accountable for our own missteps, knowing or otherwise? When are we not at the mercy of the wind? You obtained the Cothintal from a pirate, Alenka. You're not all that innocent.
And that means I deserve all of this?
Perhaps not. I only suggest that where you are now was not entirely outside your grasp. And now that you are here, we have to move forward.
I began to feel overwhelmed, and my world began to get hazy again. While I wanted more information, the more I heard, the more difficult it became to listen. Juliet smiled in a way I assumed was meant to be comforting.
Perhaps it would be better to pace this out. Take a chance to reacquaint yourself with the waking world, and I will gather the information I've collected and present it to you this evening. You can have the run of the estate in the meantime.
As Owen said, yeah, 43, who cares?
Nerd.
Alright, or no, I want to know more now.
Yeah, let's leave it for now. I can imagine he's pretty tired as well.
Yeah. Very well, in the meantime...
Do as you please. I would suggest staying on the estate, but as I said, I'm not your keeper. Perhaps you'd like some air out in the garden, or what passes for a garden in the mouth of the city anyway. It'll be light out in an hour or so, if you're uncomfortable in the dark. But you mustn't be so afraid of the dark, boy. Oh, and Elaine, do you recall meeting an elf named Harry when you were aboard the last? A heron, young, beautiful.
Yes, I met him. Juliet sighs.
Heron and Ernol will be over this evening. Heron has been relentlessly trying to get an audience with you. He's been at it for days now.
Amazing.
They're bringing over their own record, turning to Cothintal. I suspect you'd be interested. Two birds, one stone.
Is knowing Heron a problem? Their own information? Alright.
Let's go top.
This one? Okie doke.
Yeah.
Is there something about Heron I should know?
No, if you sense some irritation in my tone, it is simply that I find his eagerness cumbersome. But he shouldn't be a problem, though between you and me I had hoped he was embellishing the extent of your relationship.
Embellishing?
He said you're already betrothed.
You know he probably did. He probably was like, that's my future wife. My future
Oh,
wife
no.
is there.
Not this again.
Embellishing? I only met him briefly.
Is that so?
Yes.
Yes,
He literally was saying that you're his future wife.
he told me you spent many a wild night together.
He would. Oh my gosh, Heron is just, he's something. I love him.
Something to mention later this evening, If you need anything, there are servants about that can assist you. Somewhere.
Somewhere.
I'm sure I paid. Wait. I don't pay attention to them, but they must exist somewhere.
Yeah. I spent the rest of the day in the room I woke up in, my room, as Juliet called it. A daze lingered while I tried to prepare myself for dinner with the elves. What answers could I hope to get from these elves? Juliet seemed as trustworthy as a golden snake in a wheat field. From what I could remember of Heron and Ernal, Heron's mind is scattered and difficult to place, and Ernal is hardly my ally. The Kunthatul is so mysterious and so unknown. Did they even have answers to give? I felt a certain dread, both in suspecting I'd never get answers and in fearing that I would. Knowing exactly what it was that nestled in my belly, slithered around in my veins, stirring up my head. Oh yeah, here we go. This is the person that I said I was gonna have the country accent for. I do declare a Linka. I look towards the...
Skylar does sound like a good name for a southern accent.
Yeah. Voice that immediately felt wary. A woman entered my room without waiting for a reply and stood before me. I'd never seen her before. She wore an unfriendly expression. Isn't it polite to ask permission before entering a room? Or hello?
Yeah, let's go top one.
There's precious little solace to be had around here without strangers barging into your bedroom. And... you are a Linka? No, never mind. That's idiotic. Of course you are. There aren't any other humans running through Dulier's estate. Yep, we're not in Kansas anymore. Excuse me. What do you want? I want to get a look at you. And? Am I on display? Not as such. Not yet. What's that supposed to mean? She shrugged her shoulders. It means about what you'd expect. I wouldn't be surprised if you did become a sort of exhibition by the time this is all through. And you wanted an early viewing? Do you have a problem? Why do you want to look at me?
The line is too good not to take.
Yeah. Something of a trendsetter, are we? Aha. Her smile lingered for a moment, then it faded into a pained expression. There's not really anything I can do for you. Dulier can't even do much. He tries to act like he can do anything, but the Kunthatul really wasn't meant for a human. Her tone had shifted, no longer flintive aggressive, but sad and conflicted. And the truth is, it's not just the Kunthatul, it's Kahalia. I took a deep breath and focused carefully on the woman who'd still not introduced herself. What do you think will happen to me, or why did you really come here?
Let's go a second one.
You didn't just come here to warn me. Ew. So? She sighed and avoided making eye contact. I got a bad feeling. As much trouble as you're in, you're not any good for the people around you either. I don't want you here. Is that your decision, or what do you expect me to do?
Second one.
Where should I go then? I can't go back home. I don't know, perhaps Vadian could hide you out in the woods until someone could smuggle you home. By the way, dinner is almost ready. Look in your dresser. The woman stepped back outside the room. Wait a minute or do nothing.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Hey, you're just gonna leave? No response. Well then, the dresser.
Alrighty then.
Now it's time for that other outfit I talked about. From the window in my room, the sky had turned lighter gray, only to darken again. The wet haze outside thus far had been a gloomy constant. There were few windows in Julier's house, and the interior was mostly black, so inside it was always dark. Maid who fetched me said only 2 words to me, come, and of course the tried and true favorite, human. She led me through the house until we came to a pair of large doors. She stopped in front of one and waited for me to open the other. Dinner in the dresser. Before me, I saw Dulier, Heron, Aaron, and Skylar in an extravagant dining hall. All turned their heads toward me immediately.
Alenka!
Heron rose from his seat and began to approach. Ernal wasn't long behind, though his interest seemed to be containing Heron more than anything. And look, there's us in our new outfit.
Hey. Are you alright? Locked away in this ghastly man's tower. This is almost too ridiculous to believe. Heron, you promised. Ghastly.
I'm as well to be expected. I beg your pardon. Odulie is not so ghastly. This is all terrible.
I guess top one.
This one?
Yeah.
Other than the Kunthatal, the strange island, the elves, everything is just fine.
That's mildly comforting. It would be a simple matter to swarm the place with soldiers, materally. Just say the word. She's not a captive, Heron. Indeed. Now, if you want her to be a captive, by all means, swarm the place with soldiers.
There are soldiers looking to capture me?
Not proactively, not at the moment. However, should you be conveniently delivered to the forces, I very much doubt they'd let you go.
Doesn't that make more sense than trying to figure out what to do with her all on your own, Dulier?
You underestimate me. Shouldn't we be letting her decide?
You want me to go with the soldiers, Heron? I think I'll stay here for now. There must be another option.
Let's go other option.
There's nowhere else to go. I stay here or go with the soldiers?
There are other options. They're not.
You could always try running away.
For now, we should discuss the Kothental as we came to do, yes?
I nodded. What I wanted to know right now was everything I could about the Kothental. The rest, well, one battle at a time. It's time I understood what was going on.
Your constitution seems to have returned. As though her lacking constitution were ever more than an excuse to keep her where you wanted. Heron. The brothers brought their father's collection of ancient Gaalian texts. It is very fortunate. I've been after these texts for decades, but with you here now, there's no time to be timid. Please don't touch. Lonra as well. Fun as it might be to upset his collection, these are precious artifacts. And aggravating you more than necessary is a hassle none of us need right now. Truly, my father isn't aware that Heron and I stole the ancient Kothental texts. But what are they good for, if not something like this?
I saw the text sprayed across the table. Truth be told, I was wondering when the ancient tomes would show up. There were also other artifacts, some small statuettes, a chain and pendant, and other bits of jewelry. My attention was primarily focused on a vile-looking dagger. Thank you for lending your father's collection. I'll touch what I want. This is ominous. Have you learned anything already?
Let's go. This is ominous.
This is ominous.
Yeah.
Well, at least there are no inconspicuous bloodstains.
We cleaned those off. Curiously, sacrifice might have more to do with it than you'd hope.
I hate to be right.
Please remember that none of this could possibly be conclusive unless you yourself can confirm it. These texts in places contradict each other, and there's no way to guarantee the authenticity of any one thing over another. All of what any of us know about the Cathintal is like that. In a way, you are closer than any of us to knowing the truth.
But I understand very little.
Maybe that is true right now, but it will change. So let us begin. The Cathintal traces back to the very beginning of our society, of Gaalia. It is one of the oldest and one of the only surviving traces we have of where we came from. By all accounts, it seems certain that the intention of the Cathintal was to ultimately give a being power. And as with most great powers, the path to Cathintal's secrets came with a catch, if you will.
There always is.
It is referred to multiple It is referred to multiple times throughout the multiple volumes. That's a weird sentence.
Yeah.
That the power from the Cathintal is an exchange. Unfortunately, further elaboration on what exactly it means, what is being exchanged, with whom, can only be guessed at. Do you have any idea what the exchange means?
Erno's question caught me off guard. I have no idea. I did see something strange in the mirror. Is that why I slept for so long?
Let's keep the mirror thing to ourselves from now on. For now.
Okay.
Last one, maybe?
Okie doke. Is this exchange why I slept for days? That doesn't seem normal.
It's not. Well, not for elves. It's not normal for humans either.
Erno's like, do humans sleep for days?
I thought they hibernated like bears. Or turtles. You've certainly been displaying a number of odd symptoms. We'll figure out how it all connects, don't worry. So while we don't know what might be or must be exchanged for the Cathintal's power, we do know that the power Cathintal gave was extraordinary. The reverence, the awe, and the dread are nearly universal. There's something fantastic behind the Cathintal, and it is something that shaped the beginning of our people. Right.
I do declare, listen. All of us switch our focus to Skylar, who snuck off to look over one of the ancient texts. Let us not be consumed before our task is complete. Let us not step too far into the realm of the...
Skylar?
I'm trying, and I haven't seen this word before. It looks like flame or smoke, but...
Let me see. I've never seen this before either. It's like, I've never seen this before either.
How would you say that, Juliet?
Hmm.
I stared intently at the two elves, watching with absolutely no patience for them to continue. Perhaps.
Oh, here.
There was excitement in Juliet's voice.
We are weightless where they are heavy.
Heavy?
Yes, does that mean something to you?
I love that people are loving my country accent. It might. He nods at me slowly and continues to read.
We abandoned ourselves and became something new. The best of us can become whole again. It's the O was hard to read because it was on a white background, so I thought it said will for a second.
Amazing. And then Skylar
We can
took
become
over.
whales again.
But for every heavy fist, another 5 disappeared, claimed by that word again, smoke.
It's in tune with the others. The Gothenthal claims far more than it elevates. Don't be grim, Ernal. The rest of the passage is spent talking about nothing relevant.
Names of the dead. Julia gave Skylar a frightful look. What? She should know. Heron tapped his finger on a pendant he wore.
Perhaps the smoke is the madness. All the elves succumbing to the smoke, fog, haze, madness. And if madness was so prevalent among those involved with the Gothenthal, who's to say that those who wrote the text themselves were not mad? Whoever wrote this was making up words, isn't he? Not necessarily. It is an old dialect. It's possible the word was lost. If you reply to the rest, perhaps it's suggesting those who master the Gothenthal are powerful because they can change themselves. Step back out of the fog. Is that what you took from that?
Well, Julia and Ernal spoke. I felt Heron and Skylar's gaze on me. What do you think, Heron? Something you want to say, Skylar? Say nothing.
I think Heron hasn't said that much yet, so let's go with him.
Okie doke. Heron?
I think you've already beaten the odds, Madrale. Yeah, there we go. What you're hearing is your success, not your downfall.
That seems too optimistic. Thanks. I doubt that. Alright then.
Let's go, I doubt that.
That seems unlikely. What happened to you're a human, of course you'll die.
But who knew that for a fact? Perhaps being a human is what saved you, not what will kill you. Maybe it's the Gaalians who are weak. Sacrosanct of me to say, proud Gaalian that I am. We're leaving the text with Dulier for the next few weeks. Skylar and Dulier can comb over it extensively in the meantime. Assuming, of course. Well, my point is that this is likely your best chance at finding answers.
For one reason or the next, this was not at all comforting. Are you leaving? Ernal nodded.
We aren't really useful to the effort, not beyond stealing from our father. And Dulier knows everything we do already.
You have to. Thanks again. Oh, are you leaving, Heron?
Last one, let's go.
You as well?
Ah, yes, I'm afraid so. Try not to worry. This hasn't all happened just for you to perish.
Always so optimistic. Heron looked considerably more conflicted to leave, but parted with the sincere promise of, I'll be back, coupled with that moderately... I'll be back. Coupled with that Madgerly word of his. Maybe I'll ask him about him sometime. With the brothers gone, Julia and Skylar continued their research. They tried to enlighten me on occasion, but the references were obscure and only seemed to add more pieces to the puzzle. I began to fade, so I returned to my room. My head was feeling heavy, my mind foggy, my body numb. They were all waiting to see what would happen to me, waiting for their own answers. In the middle of the night, there was a light tapping at my window. When I woke, I found myself atop the blanket of my bed, still wearing the clothes I'd been wearing the evening prior. I rose and moved toward the window, searching for the source of the tapping. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, nothing that could explain the noise. Strange. I found myself staring at the foggy, dark silhouettes of the city. A thought I had the night before returned to me. There, outside the window, was freedom. Perhaps not safety or assurance, but freedom from others making decisions for me, from this immediate hold. Julia would have me believe here with him is the only chance I got, but what does his word count for? If I believed him, I'd stay right here, right where he wants me. But why should I believe him? A city on an island full of strange beings. There really was nowhere to run. Holy Grove! I heard a shout. It was far away, but loud enough to hear it through the walls. They sounded angry. Rock. Whose voice was it? It didn't sound like any of the elves I met, but I couldn't be sure. Not through the walls. Do you really think the Onyx Chandler is going to defy the Grand General? He's not the fool that you are. The half-human returns to her human tongue. Stop your meddling. I know that the tall woman is here. They were louder now, closer. In speaking my language, I recognized Skylar's voice, but now I was certain that the second came from someone unfamiliar.
I have nothing to hide, Gruffalo. Grolavo.
Juliet. He spoke just outside my door. Doesn't saw you bring her here. Where is she? You They switched back to their own language, but I understood that they were coming for me any moment now. I looked again at my window. Escape or stay?
Well, speaking of escaping or staying.
Oh,
yeah, I gotta go.
Makes sense. I mean, it almost is 3 hours, so
Yeah.
I think it's a good place to stop.
It was fun.
I'm glad you're enjoying it so far.
Yeah, I'm really liking this.
Yeah.
It's nice because I was tired going in, so I thought, oh, I can only do an hour or something maybe, but I'm having so much fun.
Yeah, I think it's really well done. Like, I love all the details and lore that this has. I love how well written it is. And I love the fact that it gives you a lot of options. Like, I saw some people comparing it or like less to a traditional Otome game and more to like a D&D campaign. And I totally feel that because just the amount of choices you're given throughout the story of like, what are you doing in this scene? What are you doing in that scene? Just feels very like going through a campaign, in my opinion, as well. And like having dice rolls on determining whether you can do stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, it's almost more like an adventure game than a visual novel.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think it's pretty well done for the most part. Yeah. There are some issues. Sometimes I feel like it falls into the same thing most visual novels have, where they talk too long about things that don't really matter. But overall, it's pretty good, so I'm glad you're enjoying it so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for joining as usual, Rolf. You're the best.
No you.
Get some good sleeps.
Alright, good night.
Good night. I love you. See you later.
See ya. Oh, next week, Monday, I have a D&D. Because the session got moved because 2 of the players are both going to a wedding, different weddings.
Oh, I see. Yeah, makes sense.
Very coincidental, but yeah. So,
no worries.
Point, but I'll see you the time after.
Have fun with that. We'll miss you and everything.
Yeah, see ya.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Oh boy. Let me just do that. Yeah, thanks for being here, Owen and Sushi and Azure. I love you all so much. Thank you guys. It was so nice to see you, Sushi, again. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for hanging out. When is the 10-hour stream, Anya Danksy? Maybe one day. I mean, I technically did that when E3 was going on. I did streams that lasted like millions of years. Hi, Mew. Welcome. I'm just about to end. But hello. Hi, Mew. I hope you're doing well. I love you very much. But yeah, I did have some really long streams when E3 was going on and I was streaming all of E3 and I was dying on the inside. I remember at one point, while we were waiting for certain events to happen, we were literally just watching random YouTube videos as between events, because I in all my wisdom, I was like, what would be great is if we did E3, but instead of me doing specific events, I streamed all of it. And that was a bad idea. And this was not last quote unquote E3, aka not E3. It wasn't the E3 this year. It was the E3 last year. The last official E3 when I did this. And so I streamed all day for several days. And that was a terrible idea. I'm never doing that ever again. But there were some good moments because of it. As I said, we ended up watching a lot of like YouTube videos in between events. And I would eat like on stream, had my own mukbangs. But outside of that, it was mostly just like, oh, when's the next thing coming up? So this year when E3 happened, I did not do that. I was only there for the important events and then not there for the rest of it, which was so much better. I did not get as exhausted. But yeah, I actually made a video, Sushi, on YouTube of me and other peeps reacting to E3. Actually, you know what? Let me bring it up, actually. Google Chrome. Because it's a long video, but it's also great. Like, it's a really funny video. Like, I've rewatched this video so many times. So it's a good time. Let me just get the video. Because I actually, while you were gone, YouTube, while you were gone, Sushi, I actually made a YouTube channel. There's a couple videos on it, but not a lot. Just some. But yeah, I'm gonna post it in the chat real quick. There we go. There it is. Yeah, I haven't posted anything on it for ages, though. I posted some videos, and since then I haven't really posted anything. But there's a couple videos on there. Enough to show that it is possible for me to do it, but I just haven't had the time to really do it recently with work and stuff. But maybe one day I'll come back to it. No, I edited all these videos. I made all these videos by myself using Adobe Premiere. Because I've taken courses on how to make videos and stuff. I took some media studies courses at university, so I know how to do this stuff. I made also all the thumbnails as well using Adobe Photoshop, which was fun. Also, hi Sarah, welcome to the stream. And no worries, Sarah, one day. And also, you can always watch the VOD too. And check out all of that stuff as well. You're the bestest bean, Sarah. The absolute bestest bean. Thanks for joining. I hope you're doing well, Sarah. But yeah, so I definitely, yeah, the thumbnails, I'm pretty proud of all the thumbnails that I made. They're all really good. But yeah, definitely, I would suggest watching the E3 2021 experience. I legitimately still rewatch that video all the time, because honestly, like, I suffered so much during all of that, but it made for great content, you know? Still coughing a lot, but better than I have. I'm so glad. I'm glad you're feeling better, Sarah. I hope it all goes away soon. You're the best. But anyways, let's see if there's anyone we shall raid. I almost put Twitter instead of Twitch. A disaster in the making right there. Yeah, that video is I know, it's crazy. Like, the other day, I was like, oh, it's still summer, so Neo The World Ends With You just came out, right? And no, it was last summer. But it doesn't feel that way to me. I feel like it was just yesterday. But yeah, I made all those videos and then I got a job at Screen Rant. Now I work as a writer at Screen Rant, and because of that I haven't really had a chance to make any videos. But one day I'll make some more videos, or at least upload some highlights from here to YouTube, if not editing them. One way or the other, one day. But anyways, thanks for joining Sushi, and thanks for joining Sarah and Owen and Azure and Rolf. Y'all are all the bestest beans, and Mew as well. Thank you so much. I love you all very much. It's still super cool you get to do that. Yep. Yeah, let's see who we shall raid. Also, a friend of mine gifted me their PS4 copy of Cyber Sleuth. The mail broke. No! Sarah, I'm so sorry. Oh, that sucks. That sucks. Oh no! Is there a way you can get like a refund on it? Maybe you can. I don't know. Disc is in 5 pieces or so. I wonder if you can get reimbursed for that somehow. I don't know. That sucks. I hope you're able to get the game at some point. Oh, and thanks, Sushi. I'm actually looking for another job at the moment because Screen Rant kind of sucks. But, yeah, at the moment I work for Screen Rant as a video game list writer. But at some point. My friend should be able to. I didn't pay either way, but, well, oh no. Oh, Sarah, I'm sorry that happened. But yeah, Screen Rant is kind of sucky. They only pay like $15 per article, and it usually takes me hours to write an article, so barely getting any money for my work. But one day. So currently I'm looking at other jobs. We'll see one day. I might, yeah, $15 per article, it's insane. I might, yeah, thank you, Sarah. Thank you. But yeah, I might share Sushi in my server. I might share with you, my authors page on Screen Rant just so you can see some of the stuff that I've been doing. Because I'm pretty proud of my articles. Even as I'm looking for somewhere else to go. But I still put a lot of work into those things, so I'm pretty proud that they're out there at least. Yeah. But yeah, anyways, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Let's see who we shall raid. Yeah, $15. It's insane. It's like minimum wage, but less than that since it takes hours to write one article. Oof, big oof. So that's why I've been looking for other jobs. It seems DJ is live. So let's raid DJ. Red _ Worf. Here we go. But yeah. So I hope y'all are having a good time and a good day, I should say. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys all for joining. I love each and every one of you so much. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.